Welcome back to the PSL on the Mic studio, Kelly and Jen. This is both your second times here.
Yes.
Second time.
And this is the long-awaited podcast that everybody's been waiting for. Well, at least me. We're talking about the Port District. Yay. Can't wait. You guys excited?
More than excited.
Very excited.
Yeah.
Probably super stressed and working your tails off right now, but excited nonetheless.
Yeah, I would say it's really nice to bring a project kind of from the ideas phase all the way through to execution and opening a park of this magnitude. I mean, Kelly can probably speak to that from Parks and Rec side. I mean, it's huge, and we're excited for the residents, our visitors. We're excited for our PSL team that's been involved. It's really been a long time coming.
I can't wait. Jen, if nobody already knows, is our CRA director, and Kelly is Parks Administrator for projects, correct?
Correct.
All right. So we are just going to start from the beginning. When did the city decide, hey, we need a port district? And who was involved? Did the concepts change over time? Let's just dive right into it.
The Port District itself has only been around probably for a few years, and that came to fruition from realizing that we had an area of the city that we were planning to develop in a way that it was going to be a destination, not just, a few parks in a certain area or botanical garden, because that's in essence what the Port District is. It's an area that spans all the way from Lyngate Park on Veterans Memorial Highway all the way down to past the Botanical Gardens and that conservation tract just south of the Botanical Gardens on Westmoreland.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because before we even started, I was going to say most people might not know where this area is, and I just keep telling them it's by the Botanical Gardens, but it is in fact much larger than that.
Right. So years ago, and I'm going to say probably a good time before Jen or I either one were here, there were plans to develop that area. They not necessarily came to fruition in the ways that they were originally conceptualized, but a lot of the different projects that were a part of that plan are what is actually being constructed today.
Okay.
In that, I will say, southern area of the Port District, as you would. Is it southern, right? Yeah. So, and that's what we are opening on June 15th.
Yep.
I'm sure that's coming. But while we were looking to develop that, our city council and city management realized that that whole area may need some attention, in the sense that we were focusing a lot on that southern portion of the district. And so we actually undertook a master planning project for that whole district area. So that's what encompassed some reimagining, if you will, of some of the Lyngate area, mostly the parking and some things like that. A few things going that I'm going to say we have things like a lookout tower. Jen, if I'm forgetting anything.
Yeah, we have upland trails. We have some different river experiences to the north, which I think is great, because our team has worked to build this beautiful boardwalk and build on the boardwalk that was already there. But we're trying to give people different experiences throughout the district. And, one thing, a lot of people may know this area is the Riverwalk area.
Right, where the boardwalk is.
Right, It had a prior name. And from a CRA perspective, we had a CRA plan in place that kind of envisioned how this area was going to get developed. And I know, again, prior to when Kelly and I were here, there were other visions for how this corridor was going to look. Yeah. And a lot of the property up near, north of PSL Boulevard, all that area that you drive by, and it's beautiful conservation land. Was
Tom Hooper Park, that
keep going
even
north,
more north,
all north.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of that was in city ownership, and there was intention of doing some development and mixed use in there. So that area would have looked completely different had the plan been actually executed at the time. But Crosstown Parkway came along. A lot of that land got committed for mitigation on Crosstown. And from a Parks and Rec perspective, I would say probably thank goodness that we are able to save that. From a CRA perspective, we love development, but can appreciate the recreational amenity that it provides.
Especially along the river.
Yeah. And so the area that, we talk about for the Port District right now, kind of the project we're wrapping up, actually had a lot of different things planned on it. There was townhomes planned there at one point, hotel, restaurants, mixed use. So that site would have looked completely different. This is pre-Botanical Gardens. So it would have looked completely different. And so I think, our council and the councils before were very aware of the kind of gem that was sitting there and the opportunity to preserve that for the public. And so that's kind of what led us into getting that new master plan done.
Now, why the Port District? Now, when I think of a port, when, regular person out there thinks of a port, they think of like shipping containers and yachts, and that's not going to be happening at our Port District. So is the name just kind of because we have port in our name? Explain that, how that came about.
I think, there's probably a lot of factors in it, but as the city was developed in 1961 from the General Development Corporation, it was developed as Port St. Lucie, along with many other cities in Florida
with port in it.
that don't actually have a port.
We discussed this during the City Center podcast.
So I think it's really an opportunity. We've kind of joked tongue-in-cheek about this, but to put the port in Port St. Lucie, yes, it's not, you're not going and catching a cruise ship there. You're not, shipping containers are not going up and down the river, but it is our opportunity to connect people with the river, and the port concept has really played out very nicely with that.
Now, Parks and the CRA, along with many other departments, have partnered and worked together on this forever. Can you talk about each of your respective jobs and how you've worked together to get this off the ground?
So whenever I first started working with this project, I was actually just kind of working through the CIP process with getting funds budgeted for the projects that were already in place, so those things that we're constructing right now. In doing that, I started getting more and more involved in the actual planning and development of the area. And then, and the CRA, I think, has always been a part of it. Actually, Parks has as well, but me personally, I came into it probably about, I'm going to say maybe 5 years ago or so. And from the parks perspective, like Jennifer said, we want to try to preserve as much green space as we can and provide recreational opportunities for our residents, at every opportunity where we're able to. And so I think you're going to find that there's a good mix of that commercial via the CRA and park space via our Parks and Recreation Department that that is being constructed now and will be realized in the future for that whole Port District. So.
And from the CRA perspective, Parks and Rec definitely took the lead on the park development side.
Yeah.
We've been in with the team the whole time, which has been great. So we've seen the evolution of how this came to be. But then one of the challenges we had was to locate a restaurant for the site. So the desire as part of the plan was to have some sort of restaurant experience on the river. We went through a lot of different developers, different ideas for what that could be on the river. And the time frame was such that COVID happened,
right.
The world shut down,
right.
Pandemic. So we were pretty close to having a restaurant developer on board. That happened, so we kind of paused, and which I think timing-wise worked out well for us. And then we worked into taking more feedback from our council, from experiences we've had, and what that restaurant kind of vibe needs to be on the river. And I think what we've seen is we have partnered with a group, P3. They're out of Coral Gables, and they have a couple of development team members from around the country, and they're developing this kind of river food garden concept, which isn't anywhere near what I think the original plan contemplated.
I'm sure it wasn't.
It was kind of like a restaurant. You go and you sit and look at the river. This is going to be about an experience, and we're very fortunate that the development team there is very aware of the environment. They're very into sustainability and kind of keeping, it's like your eco experience that you're having. So we're really excited for that to become part of the project, which will be starting hopefully later this year. It's in for permitting right now. They've gone through some different ideas, but a lot of opportunity. So, Maureen, you, Kelly, and I want to go to lunch out there. We're going to be able to each grab, from food from different vendors that are out there, but sit and have a meal together, and enjoy the experience on the river. So we're super excited.
I was going to say, and while the roles of the CRA and Parks and Recreation have been maybe more to lead this project.
Sure.
Many city departments have been
Oh, yeah.
involved, all the way from city management to utilities to public works. So it's been a complete team effort, through the city entities. Plus, with this master planning, endeavor that we went through for the Port District as a whole, we reached out to our residents and really got feedback from what they would like to see in
Good.
that area, along with whenever we were doing just the playground piece. We did a lot of public engagement for that piece as well. City council at the time, I remember the catchphrase was, "We want wow," and I think what you're going to see when it's
wow.
open is
Yeah.
wow. It's
That's
pretty impressive.
It's a nice segue into my next question. But Jen, you were going to say
No,
something
I just
else.
wanted to follow up. I actually would challenge anybody to find a department that wasn't involved in this
Yeah.
project. I mean,
Sure.
really, it just has, I think I went through and said, nope, everybody's been involved in one way or the other. And I think that that's not always the case for every project. So I
Yep.
think sometimes we get, into our little nodes of what we're doing, but this one has just kind of crossed every department.
And in communications, we're obviously involved with every department and marketing and publicizing the great things that the entire city is doing. When you look in our task management system right now for PortFest,
Oh,
it is just scroll with the mouse. I mean, it's pages and pages of marketing material, social media posts, graphics, flyers, keychains. I mean, I don't want to give too much away.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah,
Is that what
no,
we say?
hey,
Like,
we'll take it. Now, to talk about the unique aspects of this entire area, I want to talk about Pioneer Park because I saw pictures of the gator. That's about all I've seen. The posts blow up on Facebook. People are so excited. So let's kind of break down what we're going to be eventually seeing at all these areas. Pioneer Park, also the historic homes, so cool.
Yeah.
I bet you people just drive past and are like, why are there two old homes over here? Let's talk about all of that.
Yeah, so maybe we start there and then we'll work our way
Yeah,
down towards the river.
directional, exactly.
So,
Sure.
so as you come into the site, you do pass two historic homes, which is the Peacock Lodge, which is the one that's been redone already, stripped down to the original cypress there.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous. And for a while it was in a red tone that we were working with, but that we went back to the kind of stripped down
Yeah.
cypress. So, but that property is going to house the Port St. Lucie Historical Society, and they're going to have a museum in there to talk about Port St. Lucie's history. They will have some archiving rooms where they have been pretty much working out of storage units and kind of have things in multiple places. They have a lot of archiving
I was going to say,
do.
where are they actually housed right now?
Well, now they're housed in the lodge. So
like already?
they are slowly moving
Oh,
in.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so
Good.
we're super excited about that, and it will have a gift shop and some meeting space.
Mm-hmm.
So that particular building has been under renovation for I think just under 2 years now because we started it in late 2022. So that one's been turned over, and then the house next to it that I think as we're speaking today is being stripped down on some paint and getting repainted. That's the Peacock House, and that one was built in 1917. It has not been restored yet. There's a lot of damage to that building on the inside from weather events. But both those buildings were relocated to the site from out west, out in the Verano area. There's a really great video on our website that's time lapse of it being moved or them being moved across town. So those, as funding becomes available and we can look at grant opportunities, we'll be looking to restore the Peacock House. Now, those two buildings collectively are leased to the Port St. Lucie Historical Society.
Okay.
And I think their intent will be to have a kind of like a static display in there of like what life was like in rural St. Lucie County.
Along the river.
Exactly. So again, funding wise, we need to, align that with some future
Sure.
years, but that's going to be a great opportunity to share.
And people will be able to visit eventually.
Yep,
I mean, it'll be the
definitely.
Historical Society, so they would want to see what they have going on in there.
Yeah, so the museum, I think they have a lot of things to display in the museum, so they're working on getting that set up. We're not sure, we had several delays, with restoration of old homes. There's some specialty work that had to
Sure.
go in there, so it got a little bit delayed, and so they weren't quite ready to open. I don't think they will be open for our grand opening event for the PortFest, but hopefully soon thereafter.
And the decision to move them over here, was that all part of the Port District, the plan?
I think it was tied in. There was always this vision of kind of having this historical village in some prior iterations of the layout of that site. Those buildings were actually located closer down to the water. So I think it was determined, this was before I was with the city, I don't know about Kelly, but it was determined.
Just prior to me as well.
Yeah, so they got placed in the location where they are. So you kind of have that piece of it for the historical piece. You have the botanical gardens, to the north, which has been a great just asset for the city.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll let Kelly kind of work into the Pioneer Park playground.
So we pull around that roundabout and we're coming through.
And the first thing you're going to see is probably, if it's not the entry feature, it's going to be the big gator. He's going to greet you at the entrance.
I can't wait.
He's about 40 feet long. I actually say that our Pioneer Park playground is about 8 to 10 playgrounds in one playground, because any one of those could probably, any one of those pods, as I call them, could be a standalone playground in another park, maybe somewhere. But because we were looking for that wow factor, and the residents, came with a resounding yes to our engagement meetings that they wanted to see some of these things, we have for the 5 to 12. That gator is our 5 to 12-year-old play area.
Okay.
Also
so a
has,
51-year-old communications person.
I won't. I'll turn an eye if you want to go. I'm a climber too.
I was going to say she might be there with you.
So I like a lot of a lot of these elements you might have to keep me off of too. So, but our alligator, and they call it the Cocoa Pendulum Swing, is going to be in that first pod area. And so once you walk into the entry feature, actually let's start at the entry feature. You're going to have a huge entry feature that's going to greet you into the playground. And right there at our entry feature is our tortoise, climbable play structure. And that is an ode to our little tortoise that was relocated to other pastures, if you will. Yes,
okay,
he went on to a different home. So we wanted to give a little nod to him as you come in. There will be a little map that will kind of tell you where you're going within the playground itself.
Is that the map that Anne Marie
That is one of our very own.
It's beautiful,
Anne-Marie.
guys. I just
so
posted
cute.
that. If you guys follow us on social media, which, come on, I hope you do. We did a time lapse of her creating that map, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's all watercolor.
Gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. So then you're going to take a stroll on what we call the North Fork Walk. And so that is actually the sidewalk that will take you around the whole playground. And whenever you're doing that, you're going to notice maybe some little things in the sidewalk that might catch your attention. And then there's going to be some little educational signs that may tell you a little more about those things. They're little animals that you're going to see. I won't give everything away, but, but you'll see those. And then if you're going to your right, you'll see our alligator. He's going to be on the right as you're going through. With 5 to 12-year-olds, again, that's the age group that it is intended for.
Okay.
For the Cocoa Pendulum, and then the Cocoa Pendulum Swing. If you keep going around that walk, actually, there's two ways. There's a little secret walkway between the alligator and our 2 to 5 year play area.
Okay.
Or you can just take the sidewalk around, and that is the sail away schooner area. So that's a large kind of schooner that the 2 to 5 year olds can play on, so pretty cool. Then again, you have an option. You can go to your left, and that would be your Harmony Hideaway, which has a few little instruments for the kiddos
like
to
pick
play
your own
on.
adventure.
It is, and then or you can take the sidewalk on around, and we have a little sand play area that's the Peacock Playhouse. So again, probably more 2 to 5 year old play area. Super cute. It's supposed to be a little nod to our historic homes that are out front. And keep meandering around, keep taking that circle around. You're going to see our back. Help me out. What's
Backwater
blackboard? Backwater blackboard. Little tongue twister.
Backwater blackboard.
So that's our little art area. So you're going to have some chalk, and you'll get to do your little drawings and art on that area if you want to.
Okay, I knew a lot about this, but I did not know about that part.
And on the flip side of that is a living wall that will have the Pioneer Park, and it'll have some nice plantings that the BG friends have agreed to help us maintain. So
awesome.
Nice partnership there.
Yeah.
Shout out to the BG friends. And then if you keep wandering around, you're going to come to the opening of the Banyan Basin, which is our water play area. So I know a lot of folks are really excited about that. I know we get asked a lot, water play. Where's the water? We're in Florida, so here's there's a little water play. It's going to be some dancing water, when you enter from one area,
okay.
or if you enter from the other area on around, it's like a channel play for the smaller kiddos if they want to just kind of, do some directional play with the water and things like that. It's got some channels in there, so it's going to be a lot of fun for them.
Not submersible. This
Not
is not
submersible.
a pool.
It is
This
not a
isn't
pool.
anything like that.
It's
So
just kind of a little splashy area,
Cool off.
Yeah, cool off, exactly. So then if you come on around, we also have a swing that has a couple of varieties of swing. Those, the basket swings, the 5-point harness swings, and our regular swings will be in that, along with an ADA accessible
Awesome.
Spinning
Like a
carousel.
carousel.
It's a
Yeah,
carousel.
okay.
Yeah, so we have one of those in that area. That's the Swing and Swirl Slough, right? I'm going to make sure I get some of the names right. We have some really cute names for these areas, and you'll see these on the map. You'll also see these on signage throughout the park, so you'll know
Great.
which area you're in, based on the signage that you're seeing. And then our last little play area is the Pioneer Perch. So that's kind of a nod to some of our native birds in the area, but it's a big climbing apparatus. So that's
awesome.
one of my favorites. So I think did I forget anything? That's a
no,
lot.
you hit them all.
I
All
got it.
right,
Okay.
Kelly, good job.
Yay.
I mean, it's probably ingrained in your brain at this point.
Well, we've been planning this one for a really long
Yeah.
time. We had a consultant on before we even began the master plan for the port. He was on board, and it was actually somewhat during that COVID time frame as well, because we had to, work around some of the restrictions that were in place at that time to do some of the planning efforts. But yeah, so we've been working on this for quite some time, and we're really seeking that wow factor, and hope that all the residents enjoy what is coming to the site.
And the banyan tree is still there. A lot of people were worried, and there's no way that tree was going anywhere.
No way. Excuse me. So yeah, we actually was out there yesterday with our restaurant developer, and I had not seen the banyan tree since the terracing levels were done, and they've done a really good job at protecting kind of that base of the tree.
Good.
It's really going to be a wonderful experience down by the river where you could sit and just enjoy sunsets, or we anticipate that there will be some activation and programming of the area by way of the Parks and Rec side too. So it's just going to be a great place. I think that's where we're planning on having our ribbon cutting event too. Really great opportunity, but we skipped one of the really cool areas, couple cool areas in between.
Right.
The
So
playground.
so there's the event lawn, and while it may not sound when I say this, the restroom. I know it's like
Let's
a
talk-
restroom.
let's talk about
Let's
potties.
talk about the restroom for a minute, because we have a wonderful artist. Her name is Brenda Lee. She has begun creating an art installation on our restroom. Now, it will not be completed by the June 15th date, but we anticipate that it might be something that people want to come out and just see her do this work, because it's going to be like mosaic. It's going to be pretty fantastic.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, she's done an installation in Stewart, I think, on a restroom, right? I've seen the photos. I haven't been there personally. I
Her
think
name
Jennifer's been
sounds
there.
very familiar
Yes.
to me. And when you said mosaic, I was like, yeah.
She did Stewart Beach. There's an octagonal restroom
Yep.
building there. And
That's
she's
exactly
done
what I remember.
Memorial Park in downtown Stewart, and some indoor installations and like some libraries and some murals around town. So fascinating and wonderful woman to work with. She's
I'm
just
going
been
to
so-
Pioneer Park to see the bathroom. I mean,
know, right?
let's
Right.
do it.
but it just, it really, she has really captured the essence of the river and the river life, and telling the story of the river in a restroom building, which is the standard building that they use
Yep.
at their parks.
Cement,
but
roof, a couple doors. Yeah,
Yes,
let's
It's the prefab concrete building, but we were tasked to make it look fabulous, and I think Miss Brenda's going to be doing just that. So
can't wait to see
Yeah.
it.
And then we also have Lookout Hill, too, in the event lawn, which we'll call
Oh.
it the highest point in Port St. Lucie, I think.
Whoa.
The elevation's about 20, so if
20 feet.
Yeah. But what a great view up there. And
Yeah.
I was actually just up there yesterday and thinking about, being able to watch some concerts there and just kind of taking in the park from a different view. Really fun.
And River Nights will be back at the event lawn hopefully this October?
This next season,
Yeah,
it should be
Awesome.
back. Yep.
Because the past 2 years, it's been over at
Rivergate.
Rivergate,
Boat
which
ramp.
was a great venue, but people really want it
Yeah.
back over
It's
at
coming
the BG.
back. It'll
so.
come back in October, and the event lawn, to Jennifer's point, is reimagined in a way that I think people are going to really enjoy it. The stage will be able to be brought right in, between the park and the river there. So, And we'll also be able to utilize the event lawn for the Botanical Gardens if it's a larger event that
Right.
it needs that extra space, which is kind of how that was designed to function, so that, for maybe some of the smaller events, you could just utilize the event lawn on the Pioneer Park side, and if you needed to, you could actually put it on the back side of the Botanical event lawn and also have a little bigger event if you needed to.
So eventually the restaurant, where would that be located?
So if you go to the site, you'll see where Lookout Hill is, and pretty much everywhere from where Lookout Hill ends over towards the river, the terracing on the river.
Okay.
There's about an acre site there. I think the easiest way when people see it over the next few months before they start construction is going to be the grass will look a little different because we'll have our permanent grass where the event lawn will be, and then we're putting in some bahia temporarily until the construction starts on that piece. But there will be construction fencing up around their perimeter for safety reasons. They'll have their site designated there. It's about an acre of the site.
All right, great. So we've already mentioned it once. So PortFest is 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, June 15th.
Yep.
Right where we were describing, which is, the address is 2454 Westmoreland. However, it's right next to the Botanical Gardens. But I just want to make sure that folks know parking for just this event will be at the Mid-Florida Event Center.
Correct.
We have air-conditioned motor coaches that will be taking people every 10 to 15 minutes from Mid-Florida to Lyngate there's a car show as well, and over to the port. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. We keep emphasizing it, on social media and all our marketing materials.
Yeah,
But
and I think, we as a city want this, site to be successful, these events to be successful, and we know that this is going to be a larger event, so we've made accommodations for that. I mean, Kelly and I are not parking on site that day.
Nope.
There's
Neither
I think
are
you
we.
might see a police car there and EMS because we'll have those services available. But other than that, and we have, like you mentioned, I would say 10 to 15 minutes probably on the long end. Probably less than that. We've got 10 motor coaches reserved, and they're just going to be running in constant loops. So we're super excited to try this out for this event. We think it's a great way. I mean, we do expect that there will be people that bike there or, walk there. We will have a ride share option as well.
Yep, that's right, on Lyngate, somewhere on Lyngate.
We'll have one up at the Lyngate, the car show. And then we will have down right in front of the entrance, we'll have a ride share drop off.
Okay, awesome. And this entire event is free. Have fun on the playground, walk the grounds. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's a concert that night.
There's actually more than just a concert, right?
There's a whole slew of activities during the day.
All day.
But there is a big concert at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
With the Whalers.
The Whalers. We're so excited.
So everyone's like, so wait, the Whalers are still around? Yes, the Whalers are still around.
Yeah.
So, and I think the vibe is perfect for
Absolutely.
this type of event. So
Yeah.
it'll be great. And everything is free, guys. There'll be food trucks. Of course, you have to pay for food and drinks for that, but everything is free.
Yep.
And the park will be free from, you'll never have to pay to go to this park. So now the boardwalk. Let's talk about that situation. Will
They
that
called it a
be
situation.
all right? That was the wrong word.
Oh, we're good. We understand.
Well, there were a few situations.
There were a few
but
situations.
will that be available
So let's
during PortFest?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the boardwalk. So we've constructed the southern segment of the boardwalk, and then there was a fire last year.
Right.
So just after Independence Day, there was a fire, shut down that section of the boardwalk. It has since been repaired, so that will be operational. And but for the event itself, we are not going to have the docks open. So if people were planning to come by boat, this is not the day to do that because we have some other activities that'll be happening on the water. So we want to make sure to allow for that. But when people have always, I know for me, I get the question, when are we connecting
To the bridges,
under the bridge? So we were able to do a change order with our contractor that was doing the site work for them to complete that connection, and everything would have been spot on until Mother Nature kicked in last year. And the Tom Hooper section of the boardwalk was damaged again with, I believe it was Hurricane Nicole.
Some of the remnants from that. Yep.
Yeah, so they have had to actually close the section north of the bridge. So we have it built all the way up to that. But just within the past, I think, month or so, the city council did authorize the repair work on the Tom Hooper
Good.
section. So that's going to be starting. So it has been constructed underneath
Okay.
and will be open, but it has kind of just an end cap right now until we get that next section, which will be built at the same level, the 8-foot or the 6-foot elevation, as the rest of the boardwalk has. So we won't have that problem in the future.
Issue with weather, flooding,
Tidal
or anything.
things.
Right.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So the boardwalk itself, that portion will not be accessible that day,
That day,
and we'll let you know when it is.
definitely.
Everybody's so excited about that boardwalk going under the bridge.
It does go under
So-
the bridge right now, technically. It just
Okay,
doesn't
good.
connect.
This doesn't connect to the north part now,
Yeah.
but it will very
Right.
soon.
Yeah.
We're good. It's happening, people. Why is this project so needed and just important to our residents and visitors? Because people are going to be coming all over the place for this.
I think we can probably tag team the answer if you want to talk from a Parks and
Yeah.
Recreation side.
Right. I
first.
mean, this, along with a lot of other initiatives, were part of the Parks and Recreation 10-year master plan that was adopted in July of 2019. We've recognized for many, for several years now that, we need to provide additional recreational amenities for our growing population. So this, along with some of the other projects that we have either talked about already or may talk about very soon in the future,
Two big parks,
being
yep,
one of
tradition.
them. Yeah, we have a
Yep.
couple of regional parks coming online. This is one of those that we're hoping that will fill, a lot of those needs within the city. It's also that destination that I know that our city council, city management, and residents and staff, we're all looking forward to this destination location for the city. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to recreate and play and have fun. One of the things we haven't talked about is the preservation trail that's going to be just south
Yep.
of that we will be. You'll see a sign up on that opening day that's going to say coming soon. I will say, because we do look to leverage our taxpayer dollars with any grant funding opportunities that are
Sure.
available, one of the things that we did was we leveraged some of the funding that we had there to create a connection trail across the street at Wilderness Trail. So if you're familiar with that area, you'll know that Wilderness Park is right across the street. We're going to have a connecting piece, but that has somewhat delayed because we've got
Okay.
to commence that grant, the construction of the preservation track trail. So, but we did finally get all the approvals that we needed in
Good.
probably the last couple of months to start commencing that grant. Hope to get the construction going within the next, I'm going to say 6 months, just to give us a little bit of breathing room to get that going. But yeah, so that's going to be, and you're going to have a lot of connection between the boardwalk, that upland trail across the street. So we're trying to make that more walkable, bikeable kind of community that I know everyone's been asking for as
Mobility
well.
is a big
So
push
that
there,
area
yeah.
is going to be a really nice area to just walk and take the family at some point. I think if you're in the neighborhood, and even if you're not, maybe you'll want to bike down. So
Yeah, and there will be plenty of parking too if you want to drive over eventually and walk the entire area. Now, I'm skipping ahead because I keep thinking of questions here. The north of the boulevard, once the boardwalk is open that's what you were talking about earlier, right? Like the Tom Hooper Veterans area, there's going to be stuff over there?
So, no, I think before there were plans for a lot of mixed use along that
Okay,
corridor.
okay.
And what we have now is an opportunity to probably enhance the existing Tom Hooper Park area, the Veterans Park at Rivergate boat ramp. I know we just put in for a grant for some kind of designing of the parking area there.
Okay,
We
okay.
also just started, we're, a few weeks ahead of the grand opening, but we just started the pedestrian bridge connection at Promenade that will
I'm
help-
so excited about
Yeah.
that. I'm glad we're reusing that bridge too.
Oh, us too.
Such a good idea.
Yeah, I think we, at the time we're like, yeah, that seems like a good idea, but it really does.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is it's actually solving another issue. There were some conflicts and kind of issues with this existing sidewalk along Veterans. So this is solving an issue with from the public works side, but also creating
Yep.
kind of a cool amenity that folds into one of the capital improvement projects that Kelly was mentioning that we have kind of, lined up with improvements to that area. But as Kelly mentioned, there's a slew of other projects all the way up the corridor, but they're nothing that maybe necessarily you would see from the road is another thing. There
Okay.
are those trail connections, very.
I think that's what I
Yes.
meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these
Trail
are,
connections.
planned but not funded
Not funded.
currently.
Okay.
So as funding allows, we've got those programmed out in the outlook of the CIP, but not in the currently funded years.
Okay.
So, but as funding becomes available and it as it's a priority of our city council or city management, we'll definitely get those programmed in to be constructed as well. They are part of the plan. So
What are you guys most excited about?
June 15th.
Just
Getting
to
it
get to
open.
June 15th.
Yeah, if we can get to June 15th, I will be super excited. So, and I know we will.
We
so,
will. It's coming.
yeah.
Just a few weeks from now.
And I think we definitely had some challenges in building the park. The timing of when we started it was within a pandemic time
Right.
frame. There were material shortages, delays on certain things. So this project definitely took a lot longer than I think we anticipated, than our contractor anticipated. So we're ready. We're ready to move on to other things.
It's what we, it's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
you want to get to that day where you're able to open it up to the residents and let them enjoy, what that hard work was for. So, it's all going to be worth it on June 15th.
And
so.
Kelly's got a couple other big projects coming her way. We've got stuff in the CRA that we both have other things that we're working on. But this has been a great opportunity
Yeah.
because not all the time do we in the CRA get to work on parks and recreation projects.
Yep.
So I will take any opportunity to work with Kelly and her
Aw.
team on
Yeah.
these projects. It's just they're going to be few and far between going forward.
Anything you guys want to add before we jump into our 10-question fun time?
No, we just hope to see everyone come out, on June
Yeah.
15th. Again, park at Mid-Florida, catch your shuttle bus into the PortFest.
And it will be
enjoy.
riding from 10 to 10. So
Pretty much,
if
yeah.
it's going to be warm, so dress appropriately. There'll be lots of water, food. It's going to be a great time. I can't wait to see everybody's smiling faces.
And those
the little kids.
Though some of us will be there all day. We all also recognize that people could come and experience some things in the morning, like our
Exactly.
ribbon cutting event,
Yep.
And then maybe leave for part of the day and come back later in the afternoon. So that's why we like having the
Yep.
continual service that people can come and go at their leisure.
Yep, it'll be an all-day event, and we can't wait to see everybody. Again, that's Saturday, June 15th, right next to the Botanical Gardens. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait.
Yep.
So we're going to jump into our 10 questions that we started a few weeks ago. This is probably the hard part for Kelly.
This is probably the hard part. I've
the podcast.
kind of seen them.
Nah, it's good. So I'm just going to
I'll
shoot
answer
the
first.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Because then
All
you
right.
have time to think about what the answer is.
Yeah, and this is just a
Okay.
way to get to know our staff and,
Okay.
and our visitors who come
open
by.
book.
Okay.
I'm an open book.
If I have an answer, I'll give you one.
Okay.
We should have done it like the old honeymoon game.
See if we can match each
Right.
other's.
Oh, yeah, the
What do I
newlywed
think-
game.
Newlywed games. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what what
So I
do I
can
think
guess
Kelly
what
would
her
say?
favorite-
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been the perfect opportunity
Right.
for you two.
Right.
All right, here we go. Ready? Favorite food?
Sushi.
Italian.
Anything Italian. Favorite movie?
Asking me today, It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wow, Christmas.
40 years ago might have been Xanadu. So I've obviously evolved.
God, I love Xanadu.
I know.
We'll have to chat about that.
I was going to say, mine's changed a lot over the years, too, and I'm really kind of a sci-fi geek a little bit. So
That's okay.
I like all the Avengers movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Favorite hobby?
Antiquing.
Travel.
Favorite singer or band?
Ooh, for sure. Michael McDonald. 40 years ago probably was Olivia Newton-John or ELO. Michael McDonald now.
Okay.
So if we're going to do today, probably Pink.
Oh, same as the
Years
mayor.
ago,
Yeah.
the Judds.
Ooh,
I like that.
All right. Favorite book?
Oh, see, I just read like historical romances. I don't have like a favorite, so
That's okay.
Pass.
The ones with Fabio on the cover.
Yeah.
Boom.
something
No,
like
just-
that, or the Bridgerton kind of thing.
Oh, okay, okay,
those
okay.
kind of things.
A Land Remembered.
By?
Patrick Smith.
Oh,
It's a-
okay.
Oh, if you haven't read
I
it.
don't know that.
Florida historical fiction. Like.
I remembered. Okay,
yeah.
I'm on it. I'm
Oh,
on
good
it.
stuff.
Audiobook?
Oh no.
Okay. All right. I'll find the original.
Oh, I'm sure that it
That's
may
what
be
I
on
mean.
audio. Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is on audio. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm paper. Like
Okay. Okay. Favorite holiday?
Independence Day.
Christmas.
Yeah. Favorite place to visit? Or vacation spot?
Yeah. So I haven't been there yet. I'm looking forward. We're going to Norway next year, so
Ooh,
I'm super
beautiful.
excited about that. But otherwise, just anywhere with family, like to go.
Okay.
I'm pretty much anywhere as well, but I'll go with a recent one, which was Venice, Italy. It's pretty fantastic.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Boring.
I actually rethought that one. Moose Tracks.
Ooh,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
That's a great
I
one.
wouldn't have guessed that on a card for you.
Nope, fail. Favorite TV show?
Oh, this is going to be. So definitely could go the whole like watching Friends and The Office and all that, but my husband and I are Dateline junkies, which is like.
When you said that, it made me realize that people probably want to hear me say Parks and Rec. No.
Love that show.
It's good. I have
Yeah.
watched
Yeah.
all of them. But actually, it's a toss-up between Friends and Big Bang Theory.
Okay, all right. And last one, favorite color?
All evidence to the contrary. It's like blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like blue too.
I don't know that I even have one anymore. Like, it used to be, like, when I was a kid, purple, and then it turned into green, and now I'm just kind of like whatever the mood suits.
You like all the colors of the
I
rainbow.
do. I do.
Aw, that's a nice way to end our podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And thank you, Jen and Kelly, to finally be here to talk about the long-awaited Port District project. And we'll see everybody on Saturday, June 15th. Just keep watching our social media, our website. Everything is there and available for you. And we'll all see you at PortFest.
Can't wait.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.